Hey everybody, my name is Lucy Price and welcome to Shift Your Story. Hey everybody, welcome to today's podcast episode. Today's podcast episode, we are talking about what to do if you think somebody's mad at you. How do you deal with that? When I was really going through the thick of my relationship anxiety, this was one of the biggest fears that would come up for me. And I know it is a very common fear for people who are struggling with relationship anxiety, but also for people who are in relationships in general. Sometimes in our relationships, something feels off. A friend or a partner or a family member starts acting a little bit differently. Maybe they feel a bit distant. Maybe they feel caught up in something else. And you just get this nagging thought in the back of your brain that says, are they mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Do they hate me? Are they going to leave me? All of these fears just start coming up in the body. And it's so easy for that little nagging thought in the back of your brain of, do they not like me? To just start spiraling into this bigger thing and to start acting from that fear, acting from that place of fearing that they're mad at you or trying to get ahead of it or trying to ask around if they're mad at you. And it can cause a lot of drama in the brain. It can cause a lot of overthinking. But I also think it does have an effect on our relationships and how we show up in our relationships and how we feel about our relationships. And so I want to really break down a very practical thing, a very practical step-by-step that you can engage with if you are fearing that someone's mad at you and you're starting to freak out about it. So the first thing is to get curious and remind yourself that feelings are not facts. Sometimes we can act off of feelings and fears we have as if they're facts, as if because I feel a bit uncomfortable, that person is definitely mad at me, they definitely hate me, and they are absolutely going to ostracize me from my friend group, and everything's going to get really, really bad because they clearly don't like me. When really what's happening is we are interpreting someone else's actions or someone else's pattern of behavior. We're interpreting that to mean that they don't like us, that they're mad at us, and that bad things are going to happen. And so you have to get curious about that. You have to start questioning your feelings and questioning your thoughts and say, okay, can I prove to myself without a shadow of a doubt that they're mad at me, that they hate me, that they dislike me? Can I prove that without a shadow of a doubt? And the answer is no, you can't unless they say it. Unless they say that they're mad at you, unless they say that they hate you, unless those things are actually said, you can't prove it. You can look at different circumstances, you can look at certain actions, and you can make it mean that they don't like you. But unless they actually say something, unless they actually say that they're mad at you, you can't prove that. And so you have to disprove the belief that they are mad at you to your brain. You have to come up with all of the reasons of other things that might be going on. So first, get curious. Where are you making a feeling fact? Is that fact 100% true? Can you prove that thought, that belief without a shadow of a doubt? And if not, what are you making it mean? What is the story you are telling yourself? And how can you start shifting that story? How can you start showing yourself, okay, I feel like they're mad at me, but here are all the other things that could be going on. They could be busy with work. They could be navigating something in their own life. They could be distracted. They could be hungry. They could just be on their phone scrolling. They could be doing and thinking about 1,000 other things that isn't, I'm mad at this person. Show your brain, come up with proof for your brain that it could be something else, because your brain isn't going to give in that easy. Your brain is going to try and come up with all of the reasons why someone doesn't like you, why someone hates you, why someone is mad at you, weirdly to try and keep you safe, to try and keep you more secure, because our brains are designed to look for threats. That is how we stay alive. And back in the day when we were surviving from bears and lions, that was a really useful thing to have. And even in our day-to-day life, that can be a very useful thing to have if we have to react to a very real physical threat in the moment. But a lot of the time, our brain reacts to the world around us and sees threats when there are none out of habit, out of design. And so we have to show our brain, we have to prove to our brains that different possibilities are available for us to choose and available for us to believe. So start to shift the story, start to see what you are making it mean and see what you can make it mean instead of that. A thought, a belief that feels better to you, better to your body. After that, I encourage you to just feel the feelings. Like, yes, start to get curious about what you're making it mean, but also allow yourself to feel what you're feeling and process what you're feeling. Manage your own mind and manage your emotions. And then, if you are still concerned, if you are still worried, or you're starting to see more behaviors that you're interpreting to mean that they're mad at you, I actually encourage you to ask them directly. A lot of people can feel really uncomfortable with this because in a lot of ways, we've actually been raised to avoid conflict. We've been taught to avoid conflict, to not bring up touchy things, to not put someone, quote unquote, in an uncomfortable position. But here's the thing. The only way you are going to know is to ask. And when you ask, I encourage you to do it from as neutral of a place as possible. Here's an example of what that can look like. You could go up to the person and directly say, hey, this could totally be in my head, but I was wondering if everything's okay between us. I feel like things are a little off for me, and I just want to check in if there's something wrong because I want us to be able to talk and work through it if there is. And if this is all in my head, that's fine too, and I'll work on managing my brain and my emotions around it. By directly asking, you give an opportunity for the two of you to work through something, to talk through something, if there is something to work through and something to talk about. But if you don't bring it up and you just are acting from more of a reactionary place, then you are acting off of potential misinformation that you're deeming to be true. There are so many things that we make up in our heads when it comes to relationships, when it comes to other people's thoughts, other people's opinions. There's so much that we just fill in the blanks for, but oftentimes we're filling in the blanks from fear or from past experiences or past judgments that might not be true. And so if you're afraid that someone's mad at you, my invitation is to really get curious about it, prove it wrong to your brain, find other reasons, feel your feelings, manage your feelings, and if you're feeling called to, ask. If you're thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking about it and you can't get this thought out your head, ask. Because that's really the only way you're going to know. And if you do ask and the other person doesn't tell you, or they say everything's okay, trust it. Trust it. Because the alternative is you're acting off of misinformation. And if there was something wrong, they had the opportunity to share that with you. And maybe they'll share something with you later, but you did what was your responsibility to do in that moment. You managed your own brain, you managed your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own emotions, and you also gave space for the opportunity to rectify anything or repair anything or talk about anything that was coming up in the relationship. But as much as possible, try not to project your fears, your concerns onto the other person or onto the relationship because you simply don't know if it's true. And most of the time it isn't. Most of the time when we're afraid that someone's mad at us, they aren't mad at us. They really aren't. They are caught up in their own life or they don't even realize that you're feeling that way. So take some time to really question those thoughts, to feel the feelings that are coming up, to process and manage the feelings, and then be brave. Ask the question. Ask the question and open yourself up to getting the answer. But beware of brain projections out of fear. They'll mess things up if you're not careful. I hope this was helpful for you. If you're fearing that someone's mad at you, upset at you, listen to this like 3 more times. Get underneath the thoughts, really question the thoughts, really question what you're making things mean. Feel your feelings, process your feelings, manage your feelings, and then decide whether you want to ask the question or not. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you in the next episode. Take care. Oh, wait, actually, P.S. If you haven't started the November 30-day Date Yourself journey, the link for that is down in the description. So if you want a free 30-day self-love, self-knowing journey, I made one for you for free. 30 days of 30 practices that you can do to practice loving yourself and getting to know yourself on a deeper level. This is fantastic, especially if you're going through a period where you're in a transition or you feel like you don't know who you are anymore, or you just want to really love and care and show up for yourself in a better way. This practice, these 30 days are going to be deeply transformative for you. So get on this practice. It's free. It's in the comments. There's video tutorials. There's PDFs. It's amazing. And it's just a time and energy investment. So get on there. Okay, everybody. Talk soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If something resonated with you in today's episode, if you could leave a review, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps other people learn what we're all about here at Shift Your Story, and it helps this podcast reach listeners who may need to hear what it is that we have to say. If you would like to connect with me or work with me, you can visit my website at www.shiftyourstory.net. You can also find all of my socials on there so you can connect with me in the way that works best for you. I'll see you next time.